Hello, good evening, everyone. It's nice to see you all back again for episode 5.
Five.
5.
First one in December.
Yeah, it's the first one of the festive season. It is a pleasure to see everyone back. This week we have got another dawn story, and we've also got a section on the moon, the lunar cycle, and we have the final section of my long distance walks, which is a sad moment. But we have more to move on with afterwards. This week it is the South Downs Way, the last one we have walked, two of us. But there'll be many more when we do walk them, I'm sure. Now, thank you very much for turning up, everyone. If you know anyone that would like to come along or can't make it tonight but still wants to watch it, you can find it on our YouTube channel. If you type in Simon Pollard Garden Design and go onto the page with Dad's lovely face, you can find the video. So if anyone would like to watch that, it's there for everyone to see. And we also had 1,000 views on last week's video, which is pretty amazing.
A whole 1,000 views.
A whole 1,000 views.
Hey.
And anyone that was here last week, we had some technical issues trying to show a video of a dormouse, which came in from a guest,
Ian Wade,
and we did struggle to watch it, but this week we should be able to show you it. So we will just start now by playing the video.
Here we go. This was quite amazing. When I first saw this, I thought, what have we got there? What have we got? This little pink, what looked like a thing at the time, but watch this. Absolutely unreal. The mouse comes in, mum comes in, picks up the baby. And she's gone.
Good girl.
Back out of the field.
Oh.
Absolutely unreal. Fantastic little mouse. Don't forget also, of course, we'd love for you to get involved this evening. And if there's anything that you think of as we go through, please put it in the chat and we'll do our best to address it as we come through, as we go through the evening. After all, a bit of discussion is good fun. So anyway, back to Ross, moving swiftly onwards.
Please, as well, if you have any questions about tonight's broadcast or anything you would like to have answered, please put it into the chat and please address it to everyone or direct it generally straight to me because I will then relay them and we can hopefully get some answers for you. Other than that, we'll get started. So I'll hand over to Dad and he will take it away for this evening.
Okay, we always like to just start off with a little bit of philosophy, a little bit of thinking just about when we're outside and just something to think over when we're out and we're looking. You see, as human beings, we have this condition that says to us, I need to know what everything is. I need to be able to name everything. I don't know what that is. What's that bird? What's that insect? And it's funny, the more that I get to know, and I like to think I know quite a lot, he says boldly, the less important that kind of sense tends to feel. Because if you think about it, the only thing that actually gives anything else a name is us. Yeah, if you look, an oak tree doesn't know that it's an oak tree, and a fox doesn't know that it's a fox. In the same way that when it catches and eats a rabbit, it doesn't know that it's caught and eaten a rabbit. A fox is just doing what it does, but it doesn't know what it is. It doesn't have got a name for anything. There's no comprehension of that. The rabbit, as it's being eaten, if it cares anyway, doesn't know that it's a rabbit. It's just us giving these things names. So if you don't know what something is, it really doesn't matter, just as long as you are enjoying the time that you're out there, that moment kind of right now, just as long as you're getting involved in what is there. You know, just appreciate what is, because It was there before you came along, and it will still be there after you've gone. So I would suggest when you're outside, just enjoy being there, because nothing more really matters.
Thank you very much. I think we can all take a certain philosophical start to this evening. The next section is, I believe it's number 3 on senses. This week is sound. So, Dad, take it away.
It is sound. Sound, we tend to take sound for granted. But it's the sense that we quite often see people use when they're unhappy, when they want to disengage from the world. Quite often you look at young adults and teenagers, especially when they're trying to find their own way in their own place, and you watch them, they'll have headphones on. So they're blotting out the world with music. And quite often they'll shut off the sound, the sight as far as possible as well. But it's one that if we tune ourselves into, can really awaken our experience of the world that's outside, because you will quite often hear things before you see them. And it's the hearing that makes you look up to see what might be there. You know, whether at the moment it's the ticking of a wren or the ticking of a small bird, or the call of a buzzard, or if you're out at night and it's the call of an owl. You know, it's the bits that go with it are not quite as important. The fact that, if you like, we know that, or I know that there's 2 owls that do twit to woo. Yeah, the male goes to woo and the female goes to it. But it's that hearing thing. But it's funny because sounds, I always think, are right in the right place, wherever you are. When I've gone up to London and stayed there, I'll quite often want the window open because I like the sounds of traffic. I like the sounds of sirens. I like those city noises when I'm in the city. When I'm in the countryside, I don't want to hear those things. You know, I want to hear robins. I want to hear the wind blowing through the trees. I want to hear the sound of rain as it comes down. I want to hear the buzzing of insects. And much as I want to hear them in town, they kind of, I don't know, there is an unintentional divide. I mean, a classic example of that was, it was this time last year, just after Christmas, I think, so not quite this time last year. But myself and Ross, we were working on site, and it was a cold, still morning, and there was a robin singing. That was amazing. You know, I loved the sound of robins. And again, that little bit that you know, it's both the male and female robins sing because they're seriously territorial. And through summer, autumn, and winter, they have one song, and that kind of means my tree, my branch, my land, my grass, my food, my plants. You're not coming in, because if you do, we're going to have a Barney, and if you won't go, then whichever one of us doesn't die in the scrap gets this bit of land. And robins do fight to the death. They are very, very territorial. They're a kind of warrior of the bird world. But in the spring, because obviously if they did that all year round, they'd never pair up and have babies. And then we'd have no more robins. So they changed their song. And what it means is, in the spring, is this is my trees, my branches, my patch of ground, my worms, my bugs, and you can't come in and have it unless you're of the opposite sex, and then you can come in, we'll make babies, and then when we've done that, you can move out again. But it's hearing that, and hearing that change gives you a kind of almost time of year warning. It's hearing all those different things. So if you do nothing else, when you get out and you're walking in the countryside and automatic pilot's kicking in, try and keep the ears awake, because they will alert you to anything else that is out there. Love it.
No, I mean, I agree with all of that, in the same sense of when I remember when I was younger and we went out and we'd walk through the countryside on holidays, or we'd just go out locally, and the amount of times you'd go out and then Dad would go stop, and it would just be completely silent, and you'd hear something in the distance, and it would be a stone chatting away with the stones, or it would be a robin or a woodpecker, or something that you wouldn't pick up on if you're talking or you're listening to music or whatever you're doing. You don't necessarily pick it up in the same aspects as if you're out if you're outside in the countryside specifically to hear things, you'll never pick up on it.
Do you know, there's one other thing though that is brilliant about the sound. It's when you get out and it's silent. Yeah, that sound of silence when you actually acknowledge it, maybe just a little bit of breeze or whatever. But when you stop and absorb silence, that is one of the most important things about hearing. Because it's not just hearing those things that you do hear, it's about hearing the things or hearing the silence. And that's a really important gift we can give ourselves.
But no, thank you very much for that, Dad. But no, I mean, touching on the same thing with the sounds is even when we've done long distance walks, if you did miss it, we did do a section episode 2 on the North Downs Way, which probably when it was the North Downs Way and was used by travellers, it would have been silent. But when we did it, it is now dominated by the sound of road noise, which has been changed by us for an easier access route for everyone. I mean, you still get the sounds, but you'll never pick it up in the same way as you would have back then. But it is still an amazing section to walk if you're ever there. Now, next section we have today is a dawn story. It's a dawn story shot by me in Kingsdown. You may have seen a promo put out on Facebook. But no, here's a dawn story for you.
Good morning everyone, this is Ross checking in for Simple Life Circle Dawn Stories. Now this morning I am up at about 6:30 at Kingsdown Cliffs to watch the sun come up. That's a little bit cloudy this morning, but it certainly couldn't be much better in the winter. Now how is that for a morning sky? All the way over. If you look clearly here, you can just about see France, just there. But yeah, how is that for a beautiful morning? And you can still hear the seagulls, but soon they'll be migrating inland. But no, how beautiful is this? This is at about 7 o'clock in the morning on a Monday. That's for us, as simple like.
Cool. It's amazing when in the winter, you know, we kind of like suffer that lack of daylight. And one of the best ways of getting a bit more daylight is to actually get up early and see the sun come up, because that's the kind of bit that most people miss. You know, what people say, 6 o'clock, is there 2 of those in a day? But there are. In funny, well, later on, we've actually got a video shot about an hour before the dawn. So there's something to wait for.
Oh, we just had something come back in the chat. So when I lived in London, I used to get the train home to see my parents in Birchington. I could hear my own footsteps walking and a bird singing and smell the sea. It amazed me every time to hear my own footsteps. I can remember that so clearly 20 years later.
It is.
And we had another one come back saying lockdown in March demonstrated silence like never before. True, so true. Can't beat it. And another one coming back saying that was epic. It is epic, and I have to be honest, that is possibly the first time in a long time that I have got up that early enough to actually go out and watch it and take the time to get out and watch it, because most of the time I'm getting ready to go to work and can't get the time in the morning to go and appreciate it. But I mean, this is the perfect time to go out and watch the dawn, because this time of year you're getting up later and you've got time off at Christmas.
The sun's getting out later too.
Yeah. I mean, the sun's coming up later, which is what I meant to say. I do apologise. The sun's coming up later, which means it's a lot more accessible for a lot of people to get up at that time. Whereas in the summer, it may be warmer in the summer, and you may be able to go a little bit more comfortably dressed. But again, dressed for the weather. But if you go and watch it anywhere, it is brilliant. So now, on to our next section this week, which is Unleashing a Walker, which was shot at Old Park Woods. But I'll let Dad tell you a little bit more about it.
We will do. the beginning of this year in January, we did our first 5 senses walk, and we set those up to get people out and properly engage with the outdoors, properly use 5 senses. And we set them up. We started them in a pub, which seemed like a great idea. And Old Park Woods was the first one we went to. I started going there after an activity with the Kent Wildlife Trust, who managed it for quite a while. And there's a little bit about that in the video. But it's only been open to the public for the last 5 to 10 years. It used to be part of Old Park Barracks and the grounds. So it's actually been left alone for quite a while. It's right on the edge of the Buckland estate, which means it's fantastic position here for people who can get out and enjoy that kind of an area, because it is amazing. I'm going to crack straight on into the video, because otherwise I'm probably going to say exactly what I say in the video and you only want to hear it once. So here we go. This is us at Old Park, with me at Old Park Woods last weekend. Hi, I'm in Old Park Woods in Dover. It's been open to the public for a few years now, but it used to be part of the Old Park Barracks. The Kent Wildlife Trust had an awful lot to do with establishing it as a great place for the community. One of the things that they did was put together these areas where they've got trunks carefully arranged into seating. This one's a small one, it's got 4 trunks, and there's another one further over which has got 6 or 7 trunks in it, specifically if you would come and sit down and use, be calm and enjoy the countryside. I'll show you further on. So here we are, literally 5 minutes walk away from where I was just now. You can see Dover Castle behind me. You can see open grassland behind me, where I'm sure once upon a time people grazed animals. But if you look around, it's completely open here, and yet it's also surrounded by woodland. And you kind of wonder if this would have been a much more typical countryside habitat before kind of the great urbanisation, especially where, if you like, before we got all of the big expanse of Dover, as it became a big major international port. But as you say, the views from here are spectacular. The changes of countryside are spectacular. And as you can see, the sprawling urban port of Dover is behind us. Absolutely amazing what you can find right on your doorstep. And this spectacularly amazing area of natural healing, natural health, wealth is right on the doorstep of some of the areas of Dover that are, dare I say, a little deprived. So for those people, should they choose to be able to come out and experience and enjoy this kind of countryside, it's absolutely awesome. So if you know anybody who's struggling a little bit, bring them somewhere like this. Just get them to experience the peace and the calm, because it's beautiful. What can you see here? There are buzzards, there are magpies, there are jays, there are woodpeckers, there are wrens, there are robins, there is gorse, there is hawthorn, there is blackthorn, there are big beech trees, there are big pine trees, there are views spectacular. You can hear seagulls, you can hear the noises of town behind us. There's traffic, but it's kind of in the distance. This is just awesome. It was a fantastic day last Saturday. It's funny, those of you that were here a fortnight ago, you remember we were talking about walking in the rain? The complete contrast to today, which has been a day for pluviophiles. Anybody remember what a pluviophile is?
So a question come back about your video.
Yeah.
And it says, where is this? It looks lovely.
It's, you can, if you park at the Archer in Whitfield, you can actually, if you walk slightly down Whitfield Hill, there is actually a stile just on the left, which is accessible, and you can then walk down parallel to Whitfield Hill, and the path then goes round to the left. The other place to get to it is there's a car park off Monk's Way in Dover. You know, as you go down into Dover on London Road, there's Pilgrim's Way is on the left, and it's this, yeah, take that road, second right, go right, and then left. So it's in that area of Dover. But those are the two main entrances.
We've had another person come back and say we need to make this our next family walk as well.
Absolutely.
Which is always good. If you do go out and do it yourself, or you actually go out on a family walk and you want to actually take a video of your walk or take some pictures, we'd love to see them. If you either want to put them on the Facebook group, put them on Facebook, send them to us, or if you'd like to come on as a guest and actually talk about your own walk, that would be amazing too. We've also had someone come back with the right answer about pluvophiles, which is a rain lover.
So people who go outside
in the rain.
In the rain. I've been outside in the rain today several times, but mainly on the way to the office. But no, Old Park Woods is lovely because there are, as I say, you get views of Dover that you can't get anywhere else at all. The contrast between scrubland, ancient pasture land, woodland is unparalleled. The one thing that we've forgotten about, they're not there at the moment, but quite often they've got Highland cattle on that area of ground. Old Park Woods has Highland cattle. When we were there in January, we got several people got photographs. They're really friendly. They might look big, and I know they've got big horns, but they are actually really friendly. They're really gentle, and they love having their photograph taken. They quite often will photobomb you, actually. So it's a good place to actually go and see some animals that you wouldn't normally see. I hope that they will come back, but say they weren't there last week when we went there. But it is, go and have a look. It's a fantastic place. One of the things we are going to do is make a point of getting out to some local places and shoot some videos, because it's one of those, you know, we don't just talk it, we love it and live it. And which works, one of those things that you do that when you love it, it's easy. So we just ask you to do the same. Videos don't have to be perfect, just take some pictures, but get involved will be amazing, because that's what we're about. Anyway, on the subject of walking
and loving it,
it's probably good for me to shut up for a little while. Probably good for me to shut up for a little while. Mm-hmm. So Ross is going to take you on a little pictorial journey of the South Downs Way that we did earlier in the year. And so I'm going to pass you over to Ross. He's got some facts and figures and some one or two stories. Thank you.
Yeah, no, thank you very much. So this is the final part of our long distance walks. So far we have done 5 of the national trails within the UK, and this is the last one that we have walked. This is the South Downs Way, which if you go back to episode 2 and we'd like to watch, we did a section on the North Downs Way, which is its brother or sister, whichever way you want to look at it, its partner in crime. The South Downs Way, it starts in Winchester and finishes in Eastbourne. It's 100 miles long, so it's around the middling area to some of them. There is the Pennine Way, which is over 400 miles long, if I remember correctly.
225.
225, and takes 4 weeks to walk. That's where I'm getting confused there. And you've also got shorter ones as well, like Hadrian's Wall. So this is a middling walk within the national trails. Now, the path has been used for over 8,000 years to keep off the lowlands. Essentially, it was used all those years ago for people that were making pilgrimages to Winchester to go to the cathedral. It was also used by travellers, as well as people that were going for trade deals as such between different castles, towns and cities, as much like the Ridgeway is. And archaeologists have also proved that it was used during the Mesolithic era as well.
Is it Iron Age?
Yes, Iron Age.
Iron Age, old.
And people started to populate these areas on the South Downs Way in the Neolithic era. It's a little bit after.
Yeah.
But no, it's been used, it was predominantly used just to keep off the lowlands and keep away from the swamps, anywhere that was prone to flooding, anywhere that was prone to just becoming a bit of a bog in the winter. It was used then because you're high up. Yes, it's a little bit more windy, but you're high up, and the likelihood of you being bogged in with your cart, your horse and cart, is a lot less. So for them, it was used just as a travelling route. It was used by the Romans as well. They built Bignor Roman Fort on the South Downs Way, which I believe you have visited.
We did. We visited. Well, after we went on the walk, we actually stayed fairly local for another week. And I mean, I'm a big fan of all things Roman. Some of you might remember the centurion's helmet we had a couple of weeks ago. So yes, I dragged Gillian, my wife, and we went all the way back on the Monday, and we had a look around. Some good stuff in there too. Some real pucker, long surviving Roman mosaic floors, still full of colour, which is awesome.
I know, my last fact before we get into the pictures, it's also been used for endurance events to raise money. From memory, it's used for British Heart Foundation, cancer research, and is also set as a bit of a competition for a lot of people that do triathlons and endurance races. And the world record is currently holding at 14 hours and 3 minutes. Now, we did it in a week. I don't fancy doing that walk in 100 miles in 14 hours. But someone might. Maybe you do. It's not for us. We like to take in the countryside and experience it. But that's definitely an interesting fact that I've never seen about any of the other walks that we've done. Now, on to the pictures. One second. It is just having some fun. Here we go. Okay, let's move this back up there. Yeah, so this is the South Downs Way. We did this a couple of years ago, and it's been the last one we've done since, with pandemics getting in the way, and we just haven't found the time to find another one as of yet. So this is Winchester Cathedral. This is the start of the walk. It was the pilgrimage start or the pilgrimage end for a lot of people. A lot of people would start here and walk to other cathedrals like Canterbury, for example. But for most people in the surrounding areas, it was mainly the end. That was where they would go for their pilgrimage. That's where they experienced it. And for us, it was the beginning of a new adventure. And from memory, we spent the first night, we travelled up the day before, and we decided the first night we were going to stay in a posh hotel with a spa, just to basically make sure that we were relaxed and ready to start the walk the next day.
And clean.
And clean. And I remember spending most of the evening before relaxing in a sauna, which was very nice. Was a lovely experience.
You've got to do it properly.
Exactly. You got to live life to the full when you're just about to go on a nice long hike. Now, this is also in Winchester. This is just as we passed the cathedral and we started the walk. This runs through the middle of the town. It is the River Itchen. It just proves, I mean, my point with doing all of these PowerPoints is to show that, and PowerPoint presentations on all the long distance walks, it just proves and just shows that the countryside is on your doorstep. Back to when we did Hadrian's Wall, we started in the middle of Newcastle, and of course that's got the River Tyne running all the way through, and we followed the River Tyne all the way along. And the same with South Downs Way. You start in Winchester, and within minutes you're alongside nature, but you're still in a town centre, which is, it just shows that a lot of places are built round the nature that's there. And we had no idea this was there until we started doing the walk. But it just proves that they are there. And locally to us as well, you've got Canterbury, which got a river running through it as well.
Stour.
Yeah, you can go walk through Canterbury, and you can get boat trips along the river as well.
We will actually be doing some videos from a couple of those green spaces in Canterbury, probably just in the new year, because one of the things is just getting out and actually going out and having a look. So, sorry.
That's right. On to the next slide. Now, this was an interesting section for us because this is actually Boomtown Festival. Essentially, it's a music festival in the summer. And we had no idea, I mean, I knew it was in Winchester, but we had no idea how close we would ever get to it along the walk. But we were walking along, we just got out of Winchester, and we started going up into the valley. And there was a lot of traffic on this country path. And it must have been a bridle way for the farm, for mainly the farmland throughout the year. But there was a lot of like golf buggies going along, carrying bits of equipment. And then we realised when we got to one part of the walk, they've got those big barriers up, which they have at festivals to keep people out that haven't got tickets, and to let people in, or keep people that have got tickets in. And it is, I mean, I have no issues with music festivals. I think they are amazing. But just a friendly bit of information for you. If you ever decide that you want to walk Winchester, walk to Winchester or walk from Winchester on the South Downs Way, avoid going when Boomtown's on, because it actually redirects the walk. Because when we did it, we were very fortunate that it was starting the weekend after, and we actually managed to walk through it. If not, you're adding on another 10 to 15 miles to your day, avoiding the part where Boomtown Festival is. And there's a straw statue that we took a picture of, which is known as the Burning Man at the festival. And on the first night, when everyone turns up, they will all gather around the fire, or as many people who want to turn up, and they will burn it, and it will be a bit more of a celebration to the festival starting. There's a little bit of background knowledge on the statue itself.
It's quite interesting though, because we actually probably walked for 1 to 2 miles through the site. So it gives you some idea just how big this festival actually is.
Now, this image, if you can just about see at the top here, there is, well, you can't really tell, but there is people paraglide off the top of that mountain range, because this is the start when you properly get to go onto South Downs. This is the start of all the up and down, up and down, up and down that carries on throughout the rest of the walk. It is less flat. You are up on the hills, you get to see all the views and get to take in truly where you are. And the interesting thing with the South Downs Way is once you start walking it, you actually, when you look behind you after a couple of days, you can see the top sections of the South Downs, which you've actually walked the day before. And it continues round, and you can physically see like monuments along the way, or bits that are stuck with you, and you can turn around and you can be, oh, we were there 2 days ago, oh, we were there yesterday, and you can notice it, which a lot of the walks you don't get, because a lot of them are quite straight lines. South Downs Way is a little bit more curvy, so you do get to notice these things. This was our first section of the on the top of the mountainside. It was brilliant. It was we worked it out on our phones. We ended up walking, I think it was 24 flights that day, up and down the mountainside, which again, it's one of those things you look forward to getting to the top, because you know you're going to get a spectacular view, but then you also realize you've got to walk down. And that's the thing we've noticed as well. When you've got the heavy packs on your back, it's a lot easier to walk up a hill than it is to walk down a hill. Walking down with a pack, because it changes your body weight in areas and your balance is changed entirely. You then realize you've got to get down the other side, but then you know you're going back up another side in a minute, which makes it a lot better. Now I'll just hand over to Dad, who's going to read you a section from our journals from the walk.
It is. And the reason I'm kind of almost interrupting is because it's actually about this section. It was what I wrote that evening. I put, I've loved today. It's been hard because of the distance and all the hills, but the countryside has been to die for. A lot of it was sheltered this morning, which has been great in this heat. Instead of the views being the thing, they emerge all of a sudden, as do pretty buildings or ruins. There are paths and trails crisscrossing the South Downs Way all over the place. Eventually, it all opens out and the horizon moves much further away. And once again, the views are spectacular. We have been so high, we have seen the sea, and according to the guidebook, the Isle of Wight too. There's been the Goodwood blimp, and we have seen adrenaline junkies taking off on hang gliders. We have seen buzzards, kites, kestrels, sparrowhawks on a regular basis. And Ross saw what he thought was a grass snake. There was no diamond, so it wasn't an adder. But the most unexpected thing was that some of the hills beat Ross. He's 18 and still a wimp. But so I took the heavy pack and we carried on, desperate for a bath or a shower, not believing that the campsite had a shower. Was not about to put the lady right. We actually ended up in a B&B. One of the things that I noticed whilst walking today was the different sounds made by crickets, grasshoppers. There's loads of different sounds made, I guess, so that the knowledgeable, they're all species specific. I also realised that taking pleasure out of nature is therapeutic. Actually not realised, just remembered.
Thank you very much. No, that evening at you can camp at the farm, which they allow you to do because it is right on the walk. And we were booked into camp that evening. We'd had a long section that day. And we didn't realise at the time until we had a couple of hours left to walk that there was no showering facilities. There was a tap to do your washing up at, and that was it. And when we rang the farm to say we're going to be a little bit later, the woman went, "Oh, I didn't realise that that I had someone booked into the B&B tonight. I have to get the room ready. We went, it's not a problem. We're going to be a few hours anyway," which was really appreciated that night because we actually got to have, from memory, it was a bath that we got to use.
Fight over.
Which, yeah, we fought over it. As to who got to use it first. But we were really fortunate in the fact of, otherwise we would have ended up with no shower that evening and we would have ended up sleeping in the same stuff that we've worn all day. So we were just really fortunate that she realised or thought that we were using a B&B, so we took her up on the offer. And now this is the last picture from the South Downs Way, which I wanted to include. Now, these cliff edges here, they're known as the Seven Sisters, essentially because it is 7 very high areas along the cliff, which are spectacular. Considering how close these are to home, because these are just outside Eastbourne, which is only a couple of hours drive, and they are just spectacular. This was the alternative end to the walk. So there's 2 sections. There's one you can walk, which is very, very flat, very easy going, is shorter. And if you wanted to travel home the same day, you could be let in. You could be let into places earlier. You could get into town and enjoy it a lot more. But we decided that we were going to walk the other way, which is the alternative, which takes you onto the coast and then takes you all the way across the Seven Sisters. It is very, very steep, some sections of it. It is very up and down. There are a couple of tourist traps along the way, which we stopped at and got ice cream. Remember, we sat down at about lunchtime to eat our ice creams and to just chill out, relax for a little bit. And we saw they had a memorial on for World War II, and there was hurricanes that flew over, there was a Spitfire that came over, and there was actually a Lancaster bomber that came over as well. Now, if you can just imagine, if you're walking along the cliffs and then you're seeing these 3 historic planes, especially from our country's history as well, flying alongside the cliff edge, and you think the amazing views that we're having from the cliff edge, what views that they're having from out at sea looking at the Seven Sisters. It was absolutely brilliant. But no, that was the final day for us, and I have now changed that to my desktop picture on my laptop because I forgot that we'd taken it. But that also brings us an end to all of our long distance walks. I would love to know if anyone would like to know anything more about long distance walks. I'm going to run a section next week talking about where you can stay, things, and because there is a lot of variation in wherever you go in the country as to where you can stay. I mean, you get the basic ones, but there is a lot of different and kind of unique things you can see, and from these certain places you stay, and there's a different aura around all of them. But if you're ever thinking about doing these walks yourself, I have brought in our guides. Now, these are guides that we have used for every single walk that we have done. I'll just shut this for you. So these are the guides that we've used. Now, they are called Trailblazers, and as you can see, the West Highland Way one is a little bit battered, but they do survive, they do last, and the maps in them are really good. The maps that we used, they're all kind of drawn rather than looking at a normal like AA road map, which makes it a lot easier because when you're doing these walks, we always found you never talk in miles or kilometres, you talk in maps. This day we've got 7 maps to do, this day we do 8 maps to do. And they are just really good books. They tell you everything of where to stay, what you can see, and I would highly recommend them to anyone that wants to go out and do walks. They are called Trailblazers. You can find them on Amazon. They are fantastic. But no, thank you very much for listening to the final section of the long distance walks for now, until we do more.
We will indeed. We've adjusted our planned schedule. See, we actually sit down and plan these the week before. But when we had that amazing full moon at the beginning of the week, and I was out walking on Tuesday morning, and the sky and the air was just electric with that power of the moon. And I say power of the moon is a really, really important part of why this planet is the way that it is. Because if we didn't have that moon, our planet wouldn't have stability. We wouldn't have half the gravity that we've got. So our orbit, as we go around, would be rough and jumbly, and it would also affect the gases that hold into our planet. And as we know, it has a huge effect on the seas. You know, it gives us those high tides and low tides. So it is really, really important to us. It's also why we have that phrase lunatic, because some people do find themselves all edgy and feeling uncomfortable and behaving a little differently when we have a full moon. So there's a little video to come in a minute, but I thought what I would try and do is a very, very simple version of the lunar cycle. So making sure that I get all these around, if you like, this is kind of the way it works, because the moon has no light of its own. What we see is the reflection. So it depends on where the moon is and its orbit and where we are. And it's the relationship between the two that gives us that new moon to full moon to new moon cycle. Now, it's a much more natural cycle than the months and the years, to a certain extent, that we tend to talk about, because our months fit into the Julian calendar and there's 12 of them. But the lunar cycle is fixed, and it takes 4 weeks for that cycle to rotate. So we have 13 lunar months a year, because if there's 4 weeks to take a cycle, and 13 fours is, as we know, hopefully 52. So if you like, we have the new moon. See, high-tech equipment we have here. That's waning, well, waxing as it starts to get bigger. Then we have a waxing, oops, my apologies, a waxing half moon. That then moves to a gibbous moon, as it's bigger than half moon, but it's not quite full. And then from full, it starts waning, kind of falling away. So we have a gibbous waning, and we have a gibbous half moon. And then the other way round, we have the waning new moon or crescent moon. And that's related entirely to how we orientate ourselves, and the moon does with the sun as well. And that's also why sometimes we can see the moon during the day, and sometimes we can't see it during the night. But it's one of those cycles that when you actually clue into, it's amazing, because when I was out on Monday and Tuesday mornings, there's so much light coming from, reflecting from the moon, that I had a more distinct shadow on the ground than I do on a dull day during daytime. It really was fantastic. And no matter how I tried, I could not get a photograph of my shadow. So it's still dark, but that shadow's huge. Now we've got a little video here we're going to show you. If you look really carefully, I am on the left side of the screen, but for the most part, it's about the moon. So
just a couple of things come back in the chat before we get onto the video, which before we move on too quickly. We've had one come back saying, I love Canterbury, may have to go there for a long walk. These are great pictures. We're so lucky to have these beautiful nature trails. I agree. We've had another one saying that was a glider that you could see just in the corner by the top mountainside. That was a glider. I will put the picture back on the screen during the end so you can have a look for yourself, see if you can spot it. Another one saying there is a clip on YouTube of the sound of crickets, I think slowed down. It sounds beautiful like a song. Check it out. We'll definitely have to find it, and we'll put it on. If we do find it, we'll put the link onto the Facebook group for anyone that wants to see it as well. And the final one is just, I'm definitely going to see the Seven Sisters. Looks amazing. Now, Seven Sisters, there is a touristy bit in the middle where they've got a little bit more information about it. It's run by a trust down there, and they do have a car park which is in the middle of the Seven Sisters, so you can park up and walk either way, whichever way you feel like walking along the Seven Sisters. Now, sorry, back to where we were.
So back to where we were.
With the moon video.
Good morning, Simon here. I'm out. It's around about 20 to 6 on Tuesday the 1st of December. And what you can see there behind me, that kind of white creamy shaped blob, is a full moon. And because it is so clear this morning and it's so still, it would be a fantastic time to do a little video about the fact that the moon is full. You see, the moon is a very, very important satellite of our Earth. It helps to keep our rotational, if your axis, stable, which kind of gives us that seasonal thing with a bit more regularity than we'd have otherwise. And our climate would be very different if we didn't have the moon. And we know the effect, if you like, the moon has on our planet because of the way that it affects our tides, which is quite dramatic. Now, the moon, you probably know, this is a full moon, but we also have those new moons, which are the really kind of narrow, thin strip. And it kind of, as it goes from that narrow new moon to the full moon, then it's waxing. And then as it goes back towards that new moon status, it's waning. So it does that every 4 weeks, because the lunar cycle is not quite like our months. We actually have 13 lunar cycles in a year because they're 4 weekly cycles, and obviously 13 times 4 is 52, which is the weeks in the year, which is really cool. It's funny, when the moon is full, not only does it have that effect on our planet, but it can have a real effect on us too. Hence the phrase lunar tick. But it's amazing, this morning I'm out and the moon is actually strong enough that it's giving me a shadow. A stronger shadow than I sometimes get in daylight. How amazingly cool is that? So, at Simple Life, this isn't a dawn story because we're not yet near the dawn yet. This is a moon story. Oh, and while I think about it, the reason we see the moon is not because it's actually got any light of its own, it's because it's reflecting the sunlight. And that's why we get that kind of new moon, full moon, new moon cycle. It's also why sometimes we can see the moon during daylight, and sometimes we can't actually see it at night at all. So there's quite a lot to talk about with the moon, and that's just a little video now for Simple Life Circle. Catch you soon. Bye.
There you go. I always used to say when I was teaching, get the information across in 2 or 3 different ways and it'll hit home. So there you go, a little bit about the moon. We've been talking about cycles. One of the things we're going to do in a couple of weeks is we're going to talk about the wheel of the year, the cycle that we go through and the ancient Celtic ceremonies that go with it, because ultimately everything is cycles, but everything is energy, but energy moves in those cycles. Okay.
Thank you very much. Now, quickly, before we move on, we need to talk about Christmas because it's a festive period. Everyone enjoys it. I mean, this year it's a little bit different for everyone, but this year with Christmas, with the way it falls, it's very close to Thursday. So what we are going to do is we are going to run a longer episode on the 28th?
Monday the 28th.
Monday the 28th. It will be a 2-hour episode where we will talk for 2 hours rather than having one on the Thursday around Christmas and one on the Thursday and New Year's.
It's Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve is the days we would have been on. So
we've decided that we're going to put a 2-hour episode in the middle. So that will be on the 28th for everyone to watch. So it'll be a slight change to schedule, but hopefully nothing major. And we look forward to seeing you all there.
Indeed. Whilst we're there, we obviously have been traditionally starting at 7 o'clock. But with it being a 2-hour episode, would you like it to stay at a 7 o'clock slot, or would you like us to start at 6 o'clock? Because obviously we'll try and fit in with you as best we can. If you'd like it to be 6 o'clock, can you put 1 in the chat? If you'd like it to go to stay at 7 o'clock, please put a 2 in the chat. That's 1 for 6 and 2 for 7, please. And we'll total those up. Now, it's at that point of the evening, we just need to have a quick chat. See, it takes a lot of work to put this together, and it takes a lot of time, and we would love to be able to keep doing it for no cost at all. We're going to be running free right the way up to January, and from January we will become a paid site. We're really pleased we have some subscribers already. Now in January it's going to be £20 per month, and as a joining up bonus for in January, then you will get a copy of the 5 Senses book. Okay, but as a special offer for those people who've supported us now, what we're going to do is, if you join any time before the end of December, it will be £15, and you get a copy of the 5 Senses. But we're also running a founder member scheme. Now, with that founder member, you get all the benefits of when you join anyway. So that's 15% off all the materials we sell. That's hedgehog boxes, bird boxes, bat boxes. We've got a DIY bird box. And if there's a market, we're more than happy to do hedgehog-friendly kickboards for fences and things, and obviously the closed Facebook group, as well as the 4 1-hour broadcasts each month. But founder members, you get to keep your £15 per month subscription for as long as we're broadcasting, or you stay a member, okay? And not only that, we'll actually send you straight away not only a copy of the 5 Senses, Manages His Props, but we'll also send you a copy of the 4 Keys and the 3-year pond. And the total of those actually is more than 1 month subscription. So
just quickly on the books, whilst you're talking about the books, we've actually had one of our members come back, and she has said that she really enjoyed reading the books of her membership. Now that's from someone who is a founder member. So if you really want to read the books, you will get them with your subscription.
And I'll sign them, especially Simple Life Circle as well. And we've sold almost half of those founder membership packages already. So if you are thinking of that, then please let us know. Obviously, we'll get in contact, and we'll just need, obviously, to fill the form. Now, Ross has put the link for the form in the chat.
I'll just put it in again.
Or let us know by any means, and as soon as you filled in the subscribing form, we'll get those books out to you straight away. No quibble, no messing. They're there for you. So yeah, we'd love you to join in. We'd love you to be a part of this journey. You know, as well as the discussion and the chat, we're also bowled out. We've seen some fantastic videos that people have posted in our Facebook group this week. So as much as it's us here, it's about you. So we'd love for you to get involved. And please take advantage of that pretty amazing offer. Thank you.
I was just talking to a few of our members in the chat. They've come back, one saying, I'm looking forward to reading mine. I think it's such a great deal. You both are awesome, and I'm glad I've joined. We're thankful that you think we're doing a very good job. We like to think we're doing a good job too. And thank you very much for becoming a founder member. There is a limited amount of founder member offers. So please get in soon. But another member come back as well, and she said, chats about hedgehogs has helped me set up my own hedgehog box. Now, if you'd like to go back again through the YouTube or through Facebook page or group, there was the first episodes that we did. Those 2 episodes had live footage from a special guest house with her own hedgehog that she's been looking after, with her own hedgehog boxes. It had a lot of information about hedgehogs, and it had a lot of information around hedgehogs, in the same way we now know that hedgehogs are lactose intolerant, so don't give them milk, give them water. A lot of things like that. And there is all there's some sections in the books. There's also sections in those videos, so please go back and watch them. And also as well, we've had someone come back say, love this, you're doing a really good job. Another one, great stuff, guys. Jack wants to join and make some videos for you as well. We would love to see some videos. That would be amazing.
On the subject of videos, one of our co-patriots tonight. We've got a video coming from Shelley next week. It's at Worth Marshes. We shot a video there a couple of weeks ago, and we thought it would be really, really great if we got 2 videos from different people, and they will give us a different perspective. So again, give us those videos, please.
Again, it's the whole idea behind this is it's a group thing. We may present it, but a lot of the time that goes into it, we like to show off things that you've got to show us. We've had some great stuff come in through the Facebook group this week. We've had some pictures from last week's challenge of people's favourite places outside. Some of them were gardens, some of them were in the countryside. Doesn't matter where it is, that was someone's favourite place, and we've got to see what that is. We've had amazing pictures coming from Australia of dawns. We've had people's pictures coming from their local area about dawns. It's brilliant to see that everyone getting involved. So please carry on being involved.
Brilliant. So what's this week's challenge?
So this week's challenge is to get out and to find somewhere where you can enjoy nature, where it's been geared up by a trust or geared up by the local community, so you can experience it and be out in nature yourself. Now, if you can't get out in nature yourself, maybe find somewhere that you know of that has now been converted so people can go out and enjoy it. Like up in Old Park Woods, it's now been changed so there's areas you can sit down and talk to people. Maybe you know somewhere that's been changed near you, and you can let us know in the group, and so we can tell other people that could get out there and enjoy it.
It could even be the view out of your window. You know, if getting out is difficult and you've got a favourite view out of a window, that's just as good. Or come to that, if we temporarily can't get out, get somebody to go and take a picture. Maybe take a picture of your face and put it in the picture. But, you know, it's open. Just take advantage of that.
No, thank you very much for everyone that's come along this week. It has been amazing. Just an answer to one of the questions in the chat. We played the mouse video at the start. Just as we started, the mouse video was played. If you would like to see the mouse video again, please put a 1 in the chat and I will play it again just for everyone so they can see it.
Okay, well, just something else I've remembered. We're amazed, thankful that you're here. We are struggling a little bit with Facebook at the moment. They've thrown us in jail. So we'd love it if, when we get posts up, if you could share them into groups, share them around, tell anybody that you know, because that would really help us to spread the word. We're looking at how we can address this, but for right now, we'd love to have your help on that. That would be fantastic as well, because again, the more of you there are, the better shows that we can put on. Okay, we've got some amazing plans for next year. We just need to get people on board so that we can actually get out and do them. All right.
Now, here we go. Everyone has asked for the mouse video, so we will play the mouse video again.
Right.
Here it is for everyone to watch.
That's the moon.
That is the moon. Why has the moon appeared? Go away, moon. Oh dear, what's going on here? Give me 1 second. Let me find the video.
It's unscheduled.
It's unscheduled. No, that's not it either.
What is going on?
I don't know. I'm clicking the right one and it's deciding it doesn't like the idea of doing that. So I will find it eventually.
Just
Just
one
give
more,
me a
one
second.
more.
Nope, it doesn't like that either. This is all part of the fun when you plan everything and have it all laid out so you can start watching it. And then everyone wants to see a video again. So here it is. Here is the mouse video.
Hello, everybody.
The start.
So where was this, Maddie? In your garden, Maddie, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was in our garden.
Yeah, and there's the baby mouse, isn't it? Here comes Mum.
And I think it was on our decking.
It was underneath our shed, wasn't it? There she is. Picks up baby mouse.
That's right.
All
Good girl. Oh.
right.
Thank you very much for sending that in, Ian. It is.
You're welcome, guys.
It is indeed. So just to finish off, just a little bit. We said about going outside when to make a change, to go and taste that air, to clear your head, to sort out. But one of the most amazing things you can do anywhere, but even in the countryside, especially, you know, go outdoors and smile. Because just moving the muscles in your mouth when you smile sets off serotonin into your brain, and it actually physically, medically, definitely makes you feel happier. There is no two ways about it. We do it naturally anyway, but if you even force yourself to smile, it will make you feel happier. And you know what? Because you're smiling, you feel happier, and anybody you meet, if you're smiling, will almost be unable to return a smile back to you, and that will make you feel better too. So if you've gone outside, you've got some fresh air in your lungs, clearing your head, smile to yourself and smile to all those you meet. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you for coming. We look forward to seeing you again next week. Please get in touch. Please check out the challenge, and we'll see you again soon. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. We'll see you all next week.
Thank you, Simon. Thank you, Ross.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, guys.
Bye, Jimmy. Bye, Peter.
Thank you.
Bye.